I wanted to welcome everyone to the webinar that we're doing. I'm Joe from Intaker. This is Yoheni from Discover My Business, and we're going to talk about how to get more quick wins with Google Ads, and especially in legal, how to leverage those ads with chat. More conversions, more leads, and then more clients. So I'll do a really quick recap of what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to introduce this concept of AI chat. If you're familiar with Intaker, we are an AI chat company. And once we give you an idea what this is, Yoheni is going to break down some of the basics of Google Ads, the differences between things like search versus dynamic ads and their campaigns. And really, if you're a business owner, what you need to know to see that your ads are working. And then before we break, I'm going to do a little bit more of a deep dive into this AI chat concept and show you how we're going to do things like increase conversion, optimize some of the process that you have to convert your traffic into leads, and some of the analytics as well. So before I jump in, Yoheni, anything you want to add here, or are we just going to jump right into AI chat?
Yeah, let's go right away to the AI chat.
All right, let's see. So this is Puya, everybody. If you're not familiar with Intaker, that is our guy. That's Puya Abka. Now, I wanted to give someone a really quick overview of what this is. AI chat. It's going to do a few things, but really the goal is to increase conversions. Today, we're going to talk about on your landing pages, whether that's for Google Ads or other traffic sources. So it's different from live chats. And it also stands apart from like your typical chatbot that you might think of. It combines the best of both, and it uses personal connection of a live chat with the automation, the power of automation that you might get from a chatbot. And so there's 4 things we're going to talk more about each of these in depth in a little while. But the big wins are combining personalization with automation to create that sense of instant credibility. We're going to talk about how to be using video. It's a great way to capture someone's attention and put yourself as that authority that is approachable in whatever area of law that you focus on. Another thing that really sets this apart is the ability to qualify, whether that is for a family law, looking at the conflict check, personal injury, looking at the statute of limitations. There's certain need to know information that will help you make sure those opportunities that you're coming in are the right ones for you to focus on. And when we talk about practice areas, that's another way to really grab someone's attention with a tool that is much more targeted to what they're looking for. If it's a car accident, if it's bankruptcy, whatever it is, we want to make sure that they feel like they're at the right place as soon as they get to your landing page. Okay. So I can talk a little bit about the history of how this thing came to be, but not to go too in depth for it. Live chat has been around with legal for about 20 years. It's been a great tool for a long time, but the industry has moved in a new direction. The big issue with live chat is that it is slow. And so you don't want someone waiting for 30 seconds or a minute just to get acknowledged on your website. Using a tool that's going to be much faster is going to, out of the gate, increase conversions. The other thing about a live chat is traditionally, like, it was a non-starter for landing pages because you have the option of human error in that process. When you use automation, you're not going to have that issue. It's going to be consistently the questions you need asked every time. But then we do want to give it a personal touch. Different AI chat companies do this differently. We like to use video, and you'll see more in a little bit. But I think I want to now turn it over. We're going to talk more about this, but Yoheni, you ready to jump in?
Yes. So my name is Yoheni. I'm CEO and founder of Discover My Business, and we do handle part for lawyers in regards to Google Ads, advertising through search campaigns, dynamic campaigns, display campaigns, and we're basically the company who provide law firms with the prospects and leads. And the biggest questions people ask is, what is a Google Ads? Is it worth it to work with me with Google Ads? Is that even cost effective, and so on? I don't want to go jump on like questions number 3 and 4. I will go like step by step. So what is Google? Google Ads. It's a formerly Google AdWords platform which allows us to advertise to specific audiences while picking a specific terms on the practice. So let's say if you are a personal injury attorney you don't want to create an audience of people. You want to specifically advertise for the person who is looking for personal injury attorney or car accident attorney. And Google AdWords platform will allow us to do that and catch those people into your website and potentially to the for visitors to the leads. Fundamentals of the Google Ads. If we can go to step number 2, which is fundamentals and the Google Ads search and dynamic campaigns. This is the most profitable campaigns we see for lawyers, in a sense of that those campaigns allowing us to pick the terms for a specific niche. So let's say it's a bankruptcy attorneys. When we subcategorize and structure campaigns in the search campaign, in the search ads, on the main, as you see on the top, there's a Google Ads account. Let's say your attorney. Then we subcategorize this attorney niche into the sub practices or practices. Campaign personal injury, for example. Then what we do, we're creating ad groups and we subcategorize this particular practice into the different sub practices, which is car accident, medical malpractice, let's say wrongful death, motorcycle accident, and we can go on and on and on. And each of these ad group have specific ads, specific keywords related to this sub niche, specific landing pages. So where this give us advantage of getting a better results on the sense of visitor to lead on the conversion rate. And on top of that, what we find out lately, using Intaker, it gives us even more conversions that we have right now. So that's the basic what we do, how we structure on the fundamental side. And a lot of people asking again, are Google Ads worth it to us? Worth it to advertise, how many cases we get and how many prospects we get. It all depends what's your goal. A lot of companies focusing actually on the branding. So the main goal is to drive traffic and introduce people to the brand. Another goal is generate leads. Another goal, which is most relevant for brick and mortar businesses in the law industry, is sign cases. So we advertise with Google Ads, we find out that the biggest problem for literally people have in this industry is how can you convert a lead to the case? Since we're a Google Ads agency, our goal is to provide leads, meaning convert visitors to the prospects, to the leads. And we partner up with you guys. You help us to convert prospects to the cases. Yeah, so this is the main thing. Do you want to just talk about that a little bit? How we partner up and what kind of results we have?
Yeah, I can touch on that. And we're going to go a little bit deeper, but I'll quickly say this, that when you are driving the right traffic to your page, if it's someone who, yes, they need help, they're searching, they find you, there's really that split second when they visit your page, if they decide that they like you or not. And there's some ways that you can really stand out from the rest of the pack, from the competition, by using, imagine, a short video of yourself personally welcoming people in, making them feel heard and validating whatever issue is going on, and offering to see how you can help by inviting them to chat, essentially. That first impression, we don't talk about it that much, but that actually goes a long way to increasing the likelihood that they're going to go with you, because you know how it is. They never search for one lawyer. They're going to land on 2 or 3 or maybe 4 or more different pages when they're looking for help. So what's going to help you stand out, number one? And we're also going to talk about what happens after the lead is in your system. How are you going to convert that into an actual client? I'll show you a quick view of some of the lead management tools and other engagement tools that allow you to, for example, continue the conversation over text. Again, really, really important stuff. If you're not using texting to talk to your leads and your prospects, that is your homework. Go find a system, whether it's Intaker or anything else, that will allow you to do that. And if it's
missing a lot on that one, if you don't have that one.
Yes. Okay, cool. So, and then I'm going to circle back to a little more detail about that after this next part. But Henny, you mentioned something before about knowing how your ads are working and being able to work with an agency that's able to, not have a black box, something that you can actually
Correct.
understand and work with. Are we going to talk about that?
Correct. Correct. So after managing over 200 plus accounts, we found out that the biggest problem, most of the agencies in our industry have, they don't provide the proper reporting to the clients, meaning to the lawyers, for example. So as the marketing agency, you need to understand not only what is your cost per click, what's your ad spend budget, what's your click-through rate, but also how many leads you convert, how many phone calls you convert, how many leads, contact forms you generated, how many phone calls you generated through the strategies. So as the marketing agencies help us to calculate cost per lead, but on top of that, we want to make sure that we understand the quality of this lead. You don't want to receive 100 calls and all of these 100 calls are end up like not being the case. So as the marketing agency, we track all of the aspects of the prospects we generated for the clients. And on top of that, we want to make sure that you actually close in these cases. So the next step is, how do you follow up with the prospects? That's the biggest one. And your company guys have amazing chat system, which is SMS, two-way texting. And that's helped to bring people back to the ecosystem. Because in average, if you're receiving 100 phone calls, let's say you called back to the prospects, about 20 to 40%, people are busy, they'll never pick up the phone. So if you don't have ecosystem in place to follow up with them, that might be a problem because you're potentially losing 1 or 2 cases per month from those leads. And yeah, that's really the problem sometimes, not in the Google AdWords side, but what's happening with those leads and prospects. So if you're working with the agency guys, you need to understand not only your cost per lead, cost per conversion, meaning cost per lead conversion, but also what's happening with the lead to the case conversion status. And what we find out, here's one of the reports with one of our clients, the common clients with Intaker is, we advertise with the search campaigns, dynamic campaigns, some display campaigns, and the local map campaigns. Each campaign has a different goal. Call campaigns, it's speaking to themselves. The goal is to driving phone calls. Search campaigns is driving traffic to the landing page, but on the landing page, we have a lot of call to actions, meaning call now for free consultation. When we're advertising with the Google Ads, we kind of know people have like urgency to contact with lawyer to talk about the problem. So that's why we focus in mostly generating phone calls, not just the contact forms. And when you have a phone calls, again, as I mentioned before, you need to make sure that you have a system in place. If you don't pick up the phone, you send them text messages like, hey, we missed your calls. Can you tell us what's happened to you, or if it's a personal occasion or something like that. The next type of campaigns, it's a local campaigns. The main focus over there, generate phone calls and visited the website. And that's not a landing page, but mostly corporate website. So if you guys don't have a proper call to action on your website, you're missing a lot. So you can go like into Google Analytics, and let's say you have 1,000 visitors per month. You need to know from the corporate website, what is the conversion rate? How many calls you generate from your corporate, and how many contact forms you generated from your corporate? If it's a less, in average, it's about 3%, but in reality, it's less than 1%. That's why if you advertise for your corporate website with local campaigns, display, and dynamic campaigns, you need to make sure you have Intaker, because it will help bring those visitors to the leads and those leads to the potential cases. And what we see with this particular client, it's increased our conversions on visitor to lead. If you go to the next slide, I believe slide number 8 and 9. This one. So overall, in the sense of 2 months, I believe, from August 1st till today, it's almost 3 months, we generate about 170 phone calls, and 25 of those phone calls generated through Intaker. And if you go back to the Google Ads slide, we spent $7,500 in a sense of August 1st till today, which is bring us to $7,500 on overall spend. If we'll calculate overall lead contact forms and lead phone calls, it's about 184 leads, which is about give us $40 to $50 per lead. But again, the most important thing is what's going on with these prospects. You can generate 500 leads, 1,000 leads, but if they're not qualified, you're missing a lot. So this particular client had a lot of success on the phone calls and pre-qualification using Intaker. I believe do we have a case study right now, or is it still pending?
I was on mute. We have one that we're going to talk briefly about, not with the Google pages, but when we think about things like chat conversion, if you're familiar with, excuse me, chat, then you probably know like what's typical in terms of conversion rate. And we're going to show a quick case study measuring the performance difference with more of a sophisticated AI chat like Intaker. But I know what you're talking about, Yohani, and we're going to publish something soon of a mutual client case study. But for now, this is just a teaser. But I know the client that you're talking about is over the moon happy.
Over the moon, yeah. So if we count like visitors conversion rate is about 10%, max 15% on our end. So when we worked before Intaker, when we drive the visitors to our landing pages, conversion rate can be from 10 to 70%, but the minimum is 10%, meaning someone called, someone sent the contact form. Then our biggest problem in accident industry, how we can convert more visitors. They know that they type on Google search that they're looking for car accident, they got to the accident, what next, looking for a personal injury attorney, and you can just go through all the reports on your Google AdWords site. And if you see a lot of relevant keywords and terms, you don't kind of understand why people not submitting form, why they don't call us. That's why we connect Intaker to this particular case, and we see additional 5 to 10% conversion rate on our landing pages through you guys.
That is good news.
It is good. It's like super good news.
That's awesome. I think no, that was good, and I cannot wait to share more with everyone about that. We have a few really happy clients, and some of whom are said, yeah, go for it. You know, let's go. Let's do a case study. So there's going to be more data that we can show. But I think there was, Yohani, was there anything else that you wanted to touch on this part, or should we go back to a little bit more of a deep dive of some of those things I talked about before with exactly how we're going to make sure you're capturing as many leads as you can, the conversion rate that you said, and then how are we converting those to clients? Because that's maybe the missing piece. Not all agencies really focus on that. So I'm glad you're talking about that. It's something that we can work closely with, you know, you as an agency partner and the client, just to make sure they're using the tools that they have. Because maybe this is another thing. Firms have tools, they set them up, but they may not train their staff to use them, or there might be some like process implementation flubs that make it difficult to really follow the process and do the tracking. Is that, have you seen that before?
Yes, 100%. I mean, I think you need to go through that more deep and explain how that worked. But combining those two strategies, if you focus in on particular services on Google Ads side and advertise to the landing pages or dynamic campaigns to corporate website, and you have Intaker on the back end, you can definitely convert more visitors to leads. And also you will explain right now, how can you convert leads to the cases or do pre-qualifications of these leads?
Yes. All right, let's jump in. Okay, so when we talk about this first step, I touched on this before, creating that sense of trust, empathy, authority. When someone lands on your landing page or your corporate website, what's the way that you can stand out and have them feel like they already know you? Because if they know you and they like you, then and they trust you, you know, then they're going to hire you. And so when I talk about lead conversion, there's a few things. The qualification I mentioned depends on the practice area, but you need a tool that's going to help make sure these are the right types of cases, that there's nothing funny or weird or not in like the right state. I know jurisdiction is also important, but I want to focus a little bit more on building that trust. When I talk about building trust quickly, The goal is to help invoke that feeling of empathy while establishing that sense of authority where you are the person who can help them. Now, the trick is really how to speed this up, how to make this whole process condense into just a couple of seconds, and then how to repeat it every time someone lands on your page. So that's where the automation, things like the video come in. So people love speed when they're looking for help, but they also want to feel that personal connection too. So AI chats do this in different ways. I said that we do it with video. And imagine that you can just shoot a simple 10-second video to really walk them in. I said before, make them feel heard, acknowledged, and then invite them to have a chat, see how you can help. So, capturing leads is one thing, right? But then also making sure that you are able to, qualify them and really make them more excited to work with you. It's quick. It seems like, you only have to do it once, but it's going to have a repeat effect. Everyone who comes is going to feel your energy. This is a client of ours, Ventura Law. I want to show you really quick because, they're using Intaker, they're a PI firm, and this is on their corporate website. And I can also talk a little bit if you are dealing with multiple languages, maybe if you're a firm that has an English and a Spanish version. So Ventura Law, I think I'm going to try to click this. I think this will work. Hope I don't break anything. All right, I think you guys can hopefully still see Ventura Law here. So we're going to ask when they come in, the video is going to play silently until they're ready to jump in. And then I'm not going to put a lead in, but you're going to see how this works.
Hi, I'm attorney Augie Rivera, and for over 60 years, Ventura Law has been fighting for those who have been injured. Please fill out the intake form below, and one of our intake specialists will be reaching out to you soon. We hope to be of service for you, like we have for thousands of people for the past 60 years.
All right, so imagine that could be you. Record it once, use it forever. And from that point, it's up to the person to, okay, say it's a car accident, answer a few questions. To spare Augie, I'm not going to give him a fake lead, but this is essentially how it works. Now, the other thing that I wanted to say, if you're a firm where you have a big Spanish-speaking community and you're running Spanish landing pages, you need a chat that's going to empathize with your entire community, pretty much. And so if you go here and I show you, for example, the Spanish version, you're going to get to see a little bit more of how this whole thing works.
That's amazing.
And so, especially multilingual firms, this will help you stand out. Immigration, family, personal injury, the whole thing. Okay, so let's actually go back to the fun stuff. Thank you for that little quick detour. And I want to get into what we started talking about before with the texting. And this is a quick preview of how we use text in combination with the chat. So you're going to get leads. We already went through that process of making sure they know who you are, they feel your energy, they like you. Where a lot of firms drop the ball is they're going to get a lead and they're not super quick about responding. Maybe they'll do this. They'll get them, they'll call them, it goes to voicemail, and then they'll call them back in 4 hours. So there are much better ways to do this, because you have to imagine if someone's chatting with you, that is the same person who said, I'm not going to call this firm, maybe because I don't like talking on the phone, or they're in a quiet place, whatever it is. And I rarely pick up unknown numbers because of all the spam calls. And so if you're getting, if they don't have your number saved, right, that could be an issue. So one of the things that we do is we like to use automation. I mentioned that word before. You need an AI chat that's going to use some simple automation to get the ball rolling, at least. And there's a lot of different programs that have super complicated automation, which is very powerful, very good, but it doesn't always need to be that hard. In fact, one of the most effective ways that you can use automation is just a simple confirmation text. As soon as the chat happens, let them know, hey, this is Joe from Yohani's office. We just got your note. So we're going to reach out to you in a minute. Give us some time, whatever you want to say there. And a lot of this stuff comes stock, preloaded. So when you are setting up an account, you don't have to think, what am I going to say? There's kind of a best practice already laid out. Now, that's the automation, the confirmation. The best tools are going to take it a step further and allow you to actually enter that conversation. So imagine this. You may not want to have a chat with this person because they could be a random internet person and may not be a good lead. Later on, you might get that chat transcript, read through and say, this is someone that we need to talk to immediately. You'll call them. Again, it goes to voicemail. Jumping in to send them a quick message saying, hey, we just got your note and I tried to call you, but what's up? I saw that you're in an accident. Are you doing okay? How can I help? Start the conversation. After a couple back and forths, people are going to respond to this. And then you can
100%.
get them on the phone. And once you have them on the phone, that lead, the lead value kind of goes down pretty quick if you don't actually make that connection. So we want to increase the connection rate. That's really what this is all about. And when you are also working with, a marketing agency that can give you kind of that overview. Okay, yeah, we're giving you leads, but we're also going to make sure you know what you need to do to turn these into actual money, actual cases, because it's a win-win if they're doing it right. And Yohani, I know that you can also help give them basic overview. Hey, if we're working together, this is what you need to do to make this relationship successful.
Correct. And on our end, that's why we sometimes go through the reports. We see like how many calls we generated through Intaker using our Google ads. So if people don't decide like to submit the form, we know that they just go and communicate with someone through the chat. And we see the conversions and we see results and we see average conversation with this prospect, which is like, wow, at least 10 minutes. That's amazing because they already got pre-qualified. They already spoke to someone in this chat, AI chat, but I mean, that's helped a lot. It's a valuable thing.
Yohani, just so I understand, are you saying that you're able to see once these Intaker leads come through the chat, then the phone call that happens after the chat is essentially much more productive in terms of becoming...
In terms of pre-qualification, because you can, through AI chat, you kind of pre-qualify the person. If they're looking for something else, you see that they're not calling you, they're not responding to the messages, not emails, nothing like that. When you pre-qualify those visitors, you see more engagement with actual attorney office. So the conversation is around 10 minutes plus, which is like, wow. Most leads coming in just from Google Ads, you need to also pre-qualify them, meaning someone at your office needs to go call them or text them SMS and just kind of engage to see if they have potential case, which takes sometimes a lot of time. If the person not responding to you and you have constantly leads coming in, like every day, 5 to 10 leads, you will probably forget about those prospects next month, So with your system and with your software, you can kind of follow up with the prospect and keep engaged with them while still working on the new prospects and new leads.
Cool. Yes.
That's really helpful to us, more than to the lawyers.
This is cool. And not all of this we talked about beforehand. So I'm actually learning as we're going through too. And so I'm having a good time. Okay, the last thing I wanted to say before I move on, there's way more here that we can dig into. If you want to learn about this, you're welcome to reach out to me. Happy to show you more of everything that we're doing here. I wanted to say one other thing about this confirmation text, the simplest form of automation you can. There's something that people want. They want to feel like, okay, they got my note, they're going to call back. And there was a study, I think Redeye is the name of, they're like a data company. And 1 or 2 years ago, they put out that 70%, more than 2/3 of buyers are going to stop shopping when they get a simple confirmation text. So they're going to, come to your page. If they're going to get that, especially on their phone while it's in their hand after they just did a chat, they're not going to go to the next page right away. If it's been, an hour and you didn't call them, that's a different story. But this is really going to help buy you some time to make sure that all of these people are getting the kind of attention they need. And if you're not a personal injury type firm, if you are a consultation-based practice, I'll tell you a little bit about how we're going to help make your life simpler with integrations. So you might be familiar with tools like Calendly, Acuity, all of these scheduler tools. What your AI chat needs to do is be able to quickly integrate with whatever system where people can self-book. I'm going to show you a little bit how that works. And the integrations, just to like zoom out, is really important, whether that's to a CRM, whether that's to the analytics for your website, but also important things like giving them an easy way to schedule on your calendar. It needs to happen here. Now, if you don't see a program and you're interested about, if we integrate with it, the bulk of the modern legal CRMs, they do integrate. If you're using something very old, it might not be ready for it. So, but in the future, pretty much looking forward, everything that you're going to want to use needs to be able to talk to every other program. So do keep an eye out for if your programs integrate, because that's going to be important. Now, I mentioned before, how do we schedule? And imagine I showed you a video. I showed you the beginning of the chat, how we use video to really capture their attention, pull them in. After we answer some basic qualifications, and imagine this conversation happens in about a minute when we're talking about the AI lead capture qualification. The last step is to essentially thank them, congratulate them for getting this far, taking this step, and encouraging them, okay, now that you've given us some basic info, the next step is to schedule a meeting with our team. So you can click the link below me, find a time that works, and then we'll be ready to move forward, see how we can help. And this whole process, because we're using video, it takes 10 seconds just to say what you need to get them to take that action. And gone are the days where you have to call, look at the calendar. As long as your team is able to keep a simple calendar updated, this is going to make your life so much easier. If you're in family law, bankruptcy, immigration, anything that's a consultation-based practice, you need to be looking at some option like this. Your team is going to thank you. Long story short, there's other things. We talked about many of these before. Lead management, you want to know who are those real opportunities. Where are they in the process? Did they get a call back? Did they get 3 callbacks? Are you texting them? Is your team on top of it? And can you check? Because if they're not, that is the biggest opportunity for improvement, aside from using texting. And you need a tool that's going to let you just see where things are in the process. So I can talk more about this. Bigger firms, lead routing, if you have different departments, maybe immigration leads go to one side, personal injury go to another, whatever you need to happen. And if the partners want to be, CC'd on everything, that's cool. If they really want to let the intake manager take responsibility and just be able to, see like from a 30,000 foot view, there's a lot of different options. So we're not the only AI chat in town, but we have worked really hard to make sure that any type of plaintiff law firm or, if you're dealing with consumers, there are many tools here that you're going to want to use. So I think I will leave it there for now. And this is the quick case study. I mentioned this before. John was using live chat, loved it because he understood it, and was skeptical of automation because simple chatbots can have actually the opposite effect, where if people don't feel any of that personal connection, if they don't feel like they are getting what they need, and it's simply like a link to add your name and email and we'll get back to you. There's a lot of basic chatbots out there that actually have the reverse effect that scare people away.
And it goes back to like pre-qualification, when you just like, okay, they'll leave the phone number, full name, email address, and what's happening? You need to call them and pre-qualify them. And this is where you're getting lost again.
Yeah. But thank goodness he gave us a shot, because just the first month was a dramatic improvement. We looked at his Apex numbers before and after, and it was a huge increase in the number of chats. The nice thing is, it doesn't talk about it here, but because he runs a bankruptcy firm, he was using that self-book consultation appointment setting ability. And so what used to be a pretty painful process of getting people to get their consultation scheduled was now, that whole part was automated. And as a business owner, you can kind of rest assured, once you have the right systems, you don't need to hound your team to do these simple tasks anymore. You want them to do what they're good at, what you need them for, but there's a lot of stuff that you can essentially, outsource to automation, and that's the world we live in. So come join us. It's better on this side. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to add. And then, yeah, look out. We're going to have another case study soon with Discover My Business and Intaker together. But thank you all for being here. This has been lovely. Henny, I want to give you the floor for any final thoughts. If there are some questions, we can take them. And also, there's 2 links here. So if you have your phone and you want to scan either of these, one is going to go to book a time to speak with me. The other is going to go to Yohenny's website to learn a little bit more. And then you can reach out to him from there. And also, Yohenny, if we can add your your contact info just so people know how to get in touch with you as well. But what else did you want to add before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I want to make sure that everyone who is advertising with Google Ads actually tracking properly cost per lead and lead to the case. That's the most important part, because you need to know where's your money going to. And by utilizing all of the strategies which we mentioned before, you can definitely get a lot of success. And if you need help with actual reviewing of that, we can provide you with the free Google Ads reviews as well. So kind of like a demo, what we can do and how can you improve all of your strategy.
Yes, that sounds awesome. Henny, I want to thank you for being here, for taking the time today, and for all of you, wherever you are in the world, for watching. We're really happy that you took the time to join us. And if you are not doing this, if you're not using Google Ads and you think, let's give it a shot, talk to Yohenny, because we work with a lot of people, but few are of the caliber of Discover My Business, of Yohenny, who can really give you the kind of insight you need, not just to be successful, but to really understand the ins and outs of this process. Because you don't want to be at the mercy of someone who is, yeah, they're doing good work, but you're not really sure, and it's kind of this black box. You want someone who can walk you through this. So Yohenny, we're really happy to be working together. And if you want to learn more about AI chat, check out this box and take your demo. It's going to book a meeting with me. And from there, we're going to see what you're doing today, what needs to be improved to get the kind of results. And if you're also using landing pages and you want to talk about using chat on those, then we have a proven model now. And so we're really proud of that. So Yohenny, thank you. I'll take a quick second look. I think, do I know how to use this right? I think we're good on the questions, but yeah, reach out to either of us and have a great day, everyone. Good luck, God bless, and we're here for you.
Thank you and good day.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Just as soon as we ended, figure it out.
Okay.